individually. Please understand public comment portions of our agenda are not structured as question and answer sessions, but are offered as opportunities to share your thoughts with the board. The board and administration will respond to public comments to the extent possible, and any board responses to public comments will generally be addressed during board forum or committee reports. However, all comments are considered and will be investigated and addressed as appropriate. Please be courteous and mindful of the rights of others when speaking. Comments may not be abusive, obscene, threatening, or irrelevant. Please understand that students and employees have specific legal and privacy protections, and the board is not permitted to respond in public to comments about students and employees. Please also understand that the board will not be responsible for the content of comments made by members of the public. Members of the public are cautioned that they're speaking at their own risk and are personally directed statements they may make subject them to legal liability to the affected individuals. If it's necessary for the board to go into exec session at the end of the meeting, we'll provide an estimated length of time, which I highly doubt on this evening is that something that we will have to worry about. Hope everybody has shoveled their way out and survived the storm. The next item we are up to is our student representative, MJ. Do you have a report for us?
Yes, I do. And thank you everyone for joining us on a snow day. As per my usual rule, I'll be going over updates to our school events, in addition to student government activities to enrich knowledge between the board, the public, and what's going on at Ridge High School. So first, some important school updates. We recently had our Ridge Devil Weekend, which was a weekend dedicated to attending and supporting state-level sports tournaments for Ridge athletic teams. Our wrestling team is in their state tournament. The Skyland Cup ice game is for the ice hockey team, and our track and field team has recently claimed the sectional champs title. So by attending and supporting all of these events, it was an opportunity for Ridge students to cheer on their Ridge student athletes in these important statewide games. In addition, our Ridge Forensic Speech and Debate team competed at Harvard and Stanford Invitational, with several competitors earning bids to the Jersey-wide for the Tournament of Champions, rather. The forensics team also championed Montville Invitational, which is a state tournament. And as a member of the team myself, at these tournaments, I was actually discussing forensics grants given by the board with students from other townships. I must say that we are so grateful for the amount of funding we get for academic activities like speech and debate. When I was talking to a lot of these peers from other townships, they often face very high costs, transportation challenges, and a lot of barriers. But for Ridge High School, we have the support of our Board of Education, and it's wonderful to have the opportunity to compete in public speaking so we can develop a future as politicians, orators, and academics. In addition, our school community has been working hard at fundraisers with our track team featuring a 5K marathon in the upcoming March. Please attend if you're available. Our student government selling Chick-fil-A for students on half days, and recently a lot of our clubs teamed up together to raise money for pet shelters. In terms of student government activities, we will hold our second check-in with Mr. Robert, who is the director of our food services. Mr. Robert has been incredibly receptive to all of our feedback, and it really reflects Mashio's commitment to quality. So in the check-in meeting, our main role is to see if there's anything to help Mr. Robert with, regardless of whether it's like taste testing for certain new menu items or any questions about how recent changes like increased vegetarian options or even healthier energy drinks, how they've impacted our school community. In addition, we have a lot of student representatives who are participating in Ms. Howarth's Talk Kind project. It's a school-wide initiative started to ensure kinder dialogue in the school. During our last meeting, we kind of talked about like what are the causes of hate speech. And we discussed how our Ridge High School community, we need more unity and school spirit events. And we had many ideas such as bringing back non-instructional days or like having something similar to Project Adventure from freshman year, where students with diverse communities have to congregate and get to know each other and develop that level of empathy. So that was a really interesting opportunity to participate in that was sponsored by the administration. And lastly, the school-wide government, we are managing rich reports where students can give their comments and inputs on how do they want to, what are some of the changes they want to see in their school community. And I was just reading through some of the responses, and I saw a really interesting comment that reflected a lot of the discussions that we had at the BT Connect meeting on AI, which was a few weeks ago after the Board of Education meeting. It was a group of students who submitted comments on how AI shouldn't be used for full sentences, for instance, or how for creative writing assignments, it should only be used for wording, grammar, transitions, and vocabulary. And I think it was really interesting that like the board's extensive guidebook on AI use that we've already created, it covers a lot of those guidelines. So I think it was just a moment to see that the guidelines that the board has created reflects what the students want to see in their curriculums. So yeah, that was just a really interesting thing I wanted to bring up. So yeah, thank you for listening to this update, and I am more than happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, MJ. Does anybody have any questions for MJ? Okay, I just have two things. One, to board members, if you may remember from the last time when we had to do a Google Meet, I don't necessarily see all of you because there's so many people on screen. So when it gets time for any comments to be made, if I don't call on you because I don't see you, somehow speak up, state your name, just jump in so that I don't miss anybody who wants to make a comment on the board. Okay. The second thing is, as everyone knows, Mr. Markarian will be retiring in August, and we are actively conducting a search for a new superintendent. We always welcome community members' thoughts and opinions, and we encourage anyone who has something that they would like to share to either come and make a public comment during a Board of Ed meeting, during the public comment section, or to email us. We'll consider everything that you share with us as we move along in this process, which has begun. The position has been posted, and we are currently collecting applications, which the Personnel Committee will then review and narrow down to determine the candidates that we will bring in to interview. We will continue to provide you with updates about the process and where we are at subsequent meetings. Our goal is to have a new superintendent that we can hire this spring. This process is an extremely confidential one. And because of that, I'm going to turn it over to the board attorney, Mr. Giacobbe, to address this.
Hi, good evening, everyone. The reason this is a confidential process is that the vast majority of the applicants for this position are currently employed in other districts. And so we can't in any way impede their current employment by revealing the fact that they've applied to us for consideration. It's only when and if we finally come to a final candidate, an offer is made, a contract is negotiated between the parties, and that contract actually has to be reviewed and approved by the executive county superintendent. Once that's done, then the person's identity can be disclosed to the public because they have an approved contract. But up until that time, the board is precluded from revealing any of the candidates who have applied, people who are either successful or unsuccessful. And that's standard. When people make these applications to districts throughout the state of New Jersey, they do so knowing that it is a confidential process and they're not jeopardizing their current employment. If people were afraid that it could be jeopardized, what will end up happening is very often you will not get candidates of the highest caliber applying. So that's why we're keeping it confidential. Again, the board will keep the public apprised and updated on the process, the number of applicants who've applied, et cetera, but we will not reveal who has applied and who the finalists are when the board does conduct the interviews. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Giacobbe. That brings us to the superintendent's report. There is one item. Is there anything you want to say about this, Mr. Markarian, before we?
No, just
Okay.
this month's HIB report. Thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion? Janice and Dave, and a roll call.
Ms. White,
Yes.
Dr. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Molinari,
Yes.
Ms. Corrado,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. O'Malonic,
Yes.
Ms. Mohan,
Yes.
and Mr. Lefkowitz.
Yes.
Okay. That brings us to public comment on agenda items, and Ms. Fox will call on anybody who has their hand raised to make a public comment.
We currently do not have anyone.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Michelle Yang. I think you need to unmute yourself, Ms. Yang.
Hi, I'm Michelle Young. I live on 6 Sentinel Drive in Baskin Ridge. I just want to know if we will do a formal vote on the Lunar New Year school break today. That's my question for now, because I thought it would be on the agenda so yeah, that's my question for now. Thank you.
Anyone else?
No one's there, or no one's raised their hand.
Okay. Then I'll close public comment. Mr. Markarian, do you want to?
Sure. The first reading of the calendar policy is on the agenda. That does include a language change that would have us start to recognize Lunar New Year the first time it falls on a weekday going forward. So yes, it's on the agenda.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Markarian. That brings us to the approval of minutes.
Jen, I think Ms. White, there's someone else, Kang Ji.
So we
The
just
public
closed.
comment is closed.
We just closed
They
public
can,
comment. on
they
the
can
agenda.
make a comment at the second public comment.
Do you need to do a roll call?
Did I miss the motion and the second?
Motion. Can I get a motion? Mike and Smriti, and a roll call.
Ms. White,
Yes.
Dr. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Molinari,
Yes.
Ms. Corrado,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. O'Malonic,
Yes.
Ms. Mohan,
Yes.
and Mr. Lefkowitz.
Yes.
Okay, we're up to the finance. There are 13 items. There is not a report, but Mr. Shaw, are there some items that you want to highlight?
Yep, just two items I would really wanted to highlight. So 2 donations. So just wanted to say thank you. One is from the Cedar Hill PTO. They're donating $5,500 for School Culture and Climate Initiative by the College of St. Elizabeth. So thank you very much to the PTO of Cedar Hill. And then the next item is the Berners Township Law Enforcement Fund. They're giving donation of 6 emergency rescue lockers, valuing $10,900. This is for use by the police department, and it's for all 6 schools. So each school will get a locker. So just want to thank them for these donations. And that's it.
Can I get a motion? Janice and Brett, and a roll call.
I think Keith has a question. Does that come before the?
Right.
Yeah, I
Yes.
had a question.
Comments
on
come
one of the
before
items.
question.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Go ahead, Keith.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it was on regarding item number 5. I just wanted to clarify. So that $5,500 donation, that's for a portion of the program, which actually is set to run for 3 years, and the donation is going to be every year for 3 years, matching the district's contribution as well. Is that correct? I think we were talking about this a bit in finance on Friday.
Yeah,
Chris, I see you nodding. I don't know if you want to weigh in.
yeah, Kristen, if you could share what you did at finance, that'd be
Sure.
great. Then.
We only approve the contract 1 year at a time, but it is a 3-year project that 1 year at a time we will proceed in the same way. right? The board hasn't committed to any future years. I don't know that the PTO is committed, but they are in support of the initiative. So that would be what we would plan to have happen. But obviously you have to take it one budget year at a time. So we're not committing to the next 2 years, but that is the way it will unfold.
And I think, Kristen, too, the other half we're looking to use grant money for because it's.
That's correct. The
Okay.
rest of the contract will be funded through the federal title funds.
So that's $1,100 for the first year, half and half.
Well, 12,000 total, 5,500 from the PTO, and the
Okay.
remaining balance from the title funds.
Okay, thank you.
So in total, over the 3 years, if we go through the whole contract or the whole program, that'd be $18,000 in title funds. And I know I asked you on Friday, it's only Monday. You might not have an answer to this, but I know it's a lot of it's a culture climate survey. How is this substantially different than what we're already paying for with Panorama?
Well, I'd be happy to get the full plan from Ms. Euler and go over it in curriculum or wellness. It would go in either of those committees. But the plan would be the actual planning would be based on the survey results that they would administer. So it sort of starts from surveying students, teachers, and families. And then the needs are established through those survey results, and professional development is planned for the next year from that data. So I think the questions are a little bit different. They're not as focused on the individual student as the Panorama data is, more the culture of the school environment.
It's also the support too from the college in helping
Correct.
you design and plan the response to the results. We don't have that when we do the surveys on our own.
So this is also, because I was involved a number of years ago when they worked with WAMS and was there for part of the 3 years. And then they also have done this at Mount Prospect.
Right.
And I know Ms. Hosany spoke very highly of the work that came out of it. So working on the culture and climate with St. Elizabeth has been around for a very long time.
And it has always been very well received as well in both of those buildings. So they were excited to expand it to Cedar Hill.
Well, I mean, I'll support it since we're going to just commit for 1 year, and the Cedar Hill PTO has very generously offered to put up half. I would be very interested to see what results are going forward. Just on and I said this at finance on a philosophical basis. I'm very skeptical of consultants, and mainly because we have such a wealth of talent in this district. But I do feel that once we have a school or a building trained, we should be whenever possible employing a train to trainer model. So again, 1 year, I can get on board with that. And again, I'm not. It sounds like picayune money. $6,000, $12,000, $18,000. When we talk about $120 million budget. But again, big numbers are made up of little numbers, and just because it's a little piece of the total pie, doesn't mean that we couldn't spend those funds better elsewhere. But for this 1 year, I'll be in support of it.
Yeah, and
Also, just so you know, it's not something that you can do with Train the Trainer. I mean, it's very extensive, the surveys that they do and the reports that they put together. It's not something that, just a teacher who's been trained is going to have the time to put together the kind of reports that St. Elizabeth does. I mean, when I was involved, there were 2 people that came to all the meetings. And I mean, it was like a huge manual practically of what they put together of the surveys and the research and the data that they put together so that they could then make changes that would make the culture and the climate better and have improvements. That's not, I know we had Greg Lucas, who we now are doing the Train the Trainer model. That's a specific example of something that you can do, Train the Trainer. The St. Elizabeth, I don't think falls in that bucket.
Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I just, again, the consultant rabbit hole is one that seems to be never ending. So when it comes in front of me, I'm going to look at it with a bit of a skeptical eye. But again, it's 1 year, so and PTO is generously putting up half. So let's give it a shot.
I think the other thing that'll be interesting to Keith's point is kind of like how can we compare data sets from the different surveys that we're getting and leverage the data that we've got, perhaps with the consultants and the program that they're doing to build the best mousetrap possible for the interventions used at the school. So I think we could try to bring those things together and kind of see what they have to say about that. And with that said, I think Janice has her hand up too, Jen.
Yes, I would just like to say that, consultants for curriculum and consultants for climate and culture, we do spend money on consultants for other facilities and operations and things like that. And I think that we should also consider the importance of these consultants as well.
We have a wellness meeting this week, which is we get an opportunity for both Annan, Ms. Hudock, and Dr. Hosany to kind of share some of the details a little further with the board members.
Anyone else have a comment, board members? Okay. Now can I get a motion? Smriti,
I think
and Brett.
we had.
Did we do it already?
Around
And then we
that,
got
yeah,
interrupted?
a while
Did we
ago.
do the roll call? I can't even remember. Is
Yeah.
it the roll?
It's a roll call.
Ms. White,
Yes.
Dr. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Molinari,
Yes.
Ms. Corrado,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Omalanik,
Yes.
Ms. Mohan,
Yes.
and Mr. Lefkowitz.
Yes.
Okay, we're up to personnel. There is a report.
Yeah, there is a
But
report, but there's really nothing that can be reported out publicly other than the fact that what you already talked about, how we've begun the superintendent search.
Okay, so there are 9 items. May I have a motion? Keith and Dave, and roll call.
Ms. White,
Yes.
Dr. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Molinari,
Yes.
Ms. Corrado,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Omalanik,
Yes.
Ms. Mohan,
Yes.
and Mr. Lefkowitz.
Yes.
Okay, we're up to policy, and there is a report. Mike?
Yes. So the policy committee met on Thursday, February 12th, and a couple things we talked about was the guidelines for the use of the sound systems. And we just made it clear that students can operate the sound systems as long as school staff are present to supervise. So students cannot just do it by themselves. And for the school year calendar, we did look for the Lunar New Year and President's Day. The committee looked at where Lunar New Year falls, weekday versus weekend over the next 10 years. We revised the 2027-8 school calendar. We're not adding snow days, but we'll be adding extra days if needed at the end of the school year. Graduation is tentatively June 16th, but it's so early that we have certain days to be flexible with if, we have crazy snow. The Lunar New Year will be off Wednesday, January 26th. And for the 2028-29 school calendar, we started to discuss the details with the committee, hoping to have more information in March. And the revised calendars will be available for the Board of Ed approval this spring. And one of the things that we talked about with the AI plan, Mr. Markarian noted that one area of revision to the AI plan is to draw a lot more attention to the specific prohibition of using AI to create disparaging content, videos, images of classmates or staff. These revisions will be ready for the fall, and there's no changes for the second reading. So that is our report.
Does anyone have any questions for Mike?
Hi, MJ.
Hi, could I just ask a quick question? So I know in the last Board of Ed meeting, when they were talking about Lunar New Year, I think they mentioned even on the years where it falls on weekends, they were wondering if we could just have it on just written on the calendar, even if it falls on weekends, because I think a large part of it was just the written recognition of it that also mattered. So that was just a question I had.
I mean, that's something we could talk about, but I don't think we put other holidays on
We
the.
don't. We've talked about it in the past, and I think there was a little mixed opinion whether it would be confusing if they were listed, and
Yeah.
someone thought maybe it was on the Friday or the Monday. Like if it was on the calendar, people might get mixed up and think there was a day off, because there's a lot of times where other holidays also fall on the weekend, and so then people might get confused. I think that's why we didn't do it.
Can I get a motion?
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we should
No.
wait for public comment regarding these questions. So public comment's closed right now. So if you have questions, could you please hold them until the second public comment? Thank you very much.
Sure.
Can I get a motion? Smriti, Janice, and a roll call.
Ms. White,
Yes.
Dr. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Molinari,
Yes.
Ms. Corrado,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Omalani,
Yes.
Ms. Mohan,
Yes.
and Mr. Lefkowitz.
Yes.
Okay, we're up to curriculum and there is a report.
Yes, the curriculum committee met on February 6th. The first discussion item was the cursive handwriting legislation. New legislation was passed and will be implemented by fall of 2027. Our district currently teaches handwriting in grades K to 3 using the Handwriting Without Tears program, and we will need to expand that to grades 4 and 5 per the new legislation. Teachers are eager for access to the program, resources, and would like to have training this spring if possible. Supervisors are working on that. There was a staff in-service on January 28th. This in-service was department-based, which allowed teachers to work with their colleagues on a variety of topics. There is a number of topics outlined in the report, which is available on the BOE website. I will just highlight one or two. The English Language Arts and Social Studies teachers in grades 6 to 12 focused on information literacy and the role of AI in our programming. Teachers had a presentation by consultant Olga Polides, the state advocate lead and New Jersey chapter leader, Remedial Literacy Now, and the Education Advisory Council Alliance for Decision Education. The focus of the session was on the upcoming information literacy standards and how to integrate them within the existing curriculum. Summer curriculum projects will address this. Science teachers in grades 6 to 12 met to identify skill sets required in incorporating executive functioning and soft skills into their curriculum. And Quest teachers attended a virtual conference offered by the Renzulli Center at the University of Connecticut on the topic of artificial intelligence and creativity. The last in-service day for this school year is scheduled for Wednesday, February 25th, and it will be building-based. There's new legislation for grades 1 and 2. New Jersey requires schools to formally identify students who would benefit from gifted and talented programs starting K through 12th grade. Although we have been providing differentiated instruction for students in grades K to 2, we have not formally identified and notified parents and teachers. The district is now in the process of developing and sharing this criteria for students in grades 1 and 2, utilizing current assessment information, including our reading assessment scores and report card indicators in math and approaches to learning. Teachers and parents will receive notification of students who are in the top of their peer group on these assessments over the next few weeks. We also received the post-secondary report, part 1 of the report. Ms. Fox and Ms. Smith shared the results for the Ridge class of 2025, focusing on advanced placement, SAT, and ACT scores. Part 2 of this report, which focuses on post-secondary statistics, including college admissions process, trends, and decisions, as well as information on career education programs for the class of 25, will be provided at the February Wellness Committee meeting, and the report link will be provided then. Highlights from part 1 of the report include, with regard to advanced placement, our 30 AP courses are highly enrolled with fluctuations across specific courses. The number of students taking an exam in 2025 increased by 44, and the total number of AP exams increased by 35. The percentage of students enrolled in an AP course who took the exam increased from 91% to 97%. With regard to the SAT, in English-based reading and writing, 97% of Ridge students in 25 met the college readiness benchmark. That is up slightly from 95% in 24. In math, 88% of Ridge students in 25 met the benchmark, up slightly from 85% in 24. The average total score of Ridge students in 2025 was 1307. For New Jersey students, that score was 1061. In 24, the average total score for Ridge students was 1284. For New Jersey students, 1050. With regard to the ACT differs from the SAT in that it tests 4 content areas: English, math, reading, and science, although science is optional beginning this year. In English, 94% of the Ridge class of 25 test takers met the ACT benchmark. In math, 79%. In reading, 80%, and in science, 77%. The percentage of Ridge students who met the benchmark in all 4 was 64%. For students in New Jersey, that percentage was 52%. For the ACT average composite mean score, Ridge 25 students scored 27.0, down slightly from 24 at 27.7. The average composite score for New Jersey students was 24.6 in 2025, up from 24.1 in 24. And the next curriculum committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 4th.
Thanks. I see, Dave, you've got a question?
Yeah, just 2 things. One's a comment, one's a question. So just on the scores that Janice just mentioned, I just want to say thank you to the teachers, administrators, and the students for working so hard. Those are amazing scores again this year, and it's a testament to everyone that is involved in that. So I just want to say thank you. They are great again. The only quick question, I don't know if we know this yet, maybe too soon, but on the cursive, the handwriting without tiers that we have to add to 4th and 5th grade, just wondering cost-wise if we know. I assume it's not too material, but just wondering if we know that yet.
No, remember Dr. Hunter is pricing out 3 different programs as well as the training for teachers. So I should have that for you at the next curriculum committee meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else? Okay. We're up to wellness, and I know there was no meeting, and we're meeting this Thursday?
Thursday, the 26th.
Okay. That brings us to facilities and operations. There's a report.
Yeah, I was absent, so I think Jim's going to be reading out the report this evening.
I actually took the minutes, Jim. If you want me to read it, I can do that.
Up to you. I've got it up, but if you got
All right. If you have it up, go ahead.
Okay. So we met February 5th. We reviewed the work orders. We agreed that things have been trending in a positive direction for a while now. So we're going to look at coming up with a more simplistic metric for the committee going forward, rather than the week by week kind of look, which was necessary once upon a time, but looks like we are moving in the right direction. So we'll come up with something a little bit more simplistic. We discussed the major capital projects over the next 5 years and the 5 years after that, and had discussions on what would be involved to submit that project list to DOE and update the long-range facility plan. We discussed, since the next 5 years of projects have to be submitted to DOE, the committee discussed selecting an architectural firm to do that DOE submission. And the committee agreed that we would conduct some interviews, Mr. Mickley and I, with different architectural firms and make a recommendation to the committee to do the DOE submission of the next 5 years of projects. We discussed update from Macchio's on and gave a preview of the survey that they were looking to do, and they talked about a survey that should be coming out very shortly, and we'll be looking forward to a more in-depth review later in the spring. I gave a brief update on the Stop the Soot grant, which is still in process. We talked about the varsity complex schedule, which at the time was starting to see the benefit of snow melting, and now that's backwards. But we'll have a plan to alter that project schedule so that it doesn't impact the baseball and the softball field. And then just a couple of updates on the 26 projects, the Ridge Track, the Cedar Hill roof, and the O Street direct install. The next meeting will be April 2nd at 4 p.m.
And I did share a note in the SOS on Friday about what Mr. Rollo described relative to the varsity complex at Ridge. You know, obviously we want to have our baseball and softball fields available for spring use. So we're being sensitive to that. They did start with the backstop on the varsity field, but we are expediting that repair, essentially replacement of the old backstop. So we'll get that in place and not disturb those fields so that they can be used as soon as they dry out, which is going to be a challenge for everywhere this year, obviously.
Thank you. We're up to liaison. Does anybody have a liaison report? I don't see anybody. Okay, so that brings us to public comment on non-agenda items.
Okay, we have one hand up, Ms. Zhao. You can unmute, make your comment.
Hello, can you hear me or see me?
Yep, both.
Okay, hi. Yeah, my name is Wenjun Zhao from 83 Carlisle Road in Baskin Ridge. I wanted to make public comments about Lunar New Year. So I wanted to say that thank you for your continuing support for the Lunar New Year. And, I would like to briefly share how this decision would benefit Bernards Township in general. So first, by sending the Lunar New Year in the school calendar, it sends a clear and a public message that our town embraces cultural diversity and values every family who calls this community home. So recognition at this district level shows that inclusion is not only discussed, but also practical in practice. So this strengthens trust between families and also the school system. Second, this decision directly supports students' sense of belonging. So when children see their heritage acknowledged in an official way, so it affirms their identity. A strong sense of belonging builds confidence, increases engagement, and supports overall well-being. So all of which are closely connected to academic success and a healthy school environment. And the third, it also provides practical clarity. So many students already observe Lunar New Year holiday with their families. So recognizing it officially reduces attendance conflicts and eases tension from families, like when they have to go to school or they stay with their family on that day. So, and then they feel very meaningful and also, with the balance with the school responsibilities. And finally, it also serves an educational purpose. Why? Because our school provides students for participation in global society. So acknowledging major cultural celebrations strengthens awareness, respect, and understanding across entirely student body. So Bernards Township is known for excellence. And my kids are in here, and we're so happy, and we're so grateful that we are in this great community. So including Lunar New Year in the calendar would further demonstrate leadership in aligning our policies with the diverse and involving community that we serve. And thank you so much for your thoughtful consideration and your efforts.
Thank you.
Kristen, can I just jump in for one
Absolutely.
second? Because there might be people who weren't at our last meeting when we all voted that we would be including the Lunar New Year on our calendars going forward. And Mr. Talbot, when he gave the policy report, that's what he talked about, which was the first readings on calendars, so that we have agreed that we will be putting adding the Lunar New Year on our calendar. So I just wanted to make sure everybody.
Okay. Yeah, that's great news. So we're so appreciate that the efforts that the BOE putting in this this action, and really appreciate. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
Kristen,
you
I'll
so
turn it
much.
back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next person who had their hands up was Evelyn Zhu. If you'd like to make a comment, there you go.
Yeah, so this is technically an agenda item, but I didn't raise my hand earlier. So I also want to talk about Lunar New Year. I just want to say thank you so much. And I know it's not like the first time this proposal has brought forward, and that just makes this so much more meaningful. And I'm so honored to have been the person to start this conversation this time and to be a part of the community that ultimately made it possible. And this was not something that one person could do. We all saw so many members of our community speak in front of this board, do so much research, share their own stories, and spread the word. And I want to especially thank Mrs. Michelle Yang, who spoke earlier, and I want to thank her for organizing so many of our activities and giving us so much helpful insight. And we truly could not have succeeded without her. And of course, the biggest thank you goes to you guys, the board, and every single member who showed support and finally voted yes. So thank you for choosing to send Asian students a clear message that our culture matters in this district, and more importantly, that every single student matters to you and to our whole community. And you've done so much more than just add a holiday to the calendar. This is showing us that you respect us and that as a member of our community, you stand for every single person in it. Thank you.
Thanks, Evelyn.
Thank you. The next person who had their hand up was Mike Fitzpatrick. You're still muted, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Okay, I'm a little rusty on this. I retired from my job a few years ago, so I had to get reminded.
No problem.
So I'd like to thank the committee for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Mike Fitzpatrick, and I am the president of the Berners Township Law Enforcement Fund, or the organization that you accepted the donation of lockers from. Our organization is a 501c3. We are here to provide tools to the police department for several things, including public safety. And in conversations with the police department, with our township committee, with the Board of Education, we've all identified these lockers as something that could assist officers in protecting our most valuable asset, the children who are in our schools. These lockers that we have purchased are in use in many different districts in the state of New Jersey already. We saw this as a great opportunity for our donors to get involved and to express our support for everything that is taking place in the schools now to protect our children. These lockers contain equipment that the SLEOs and the police officers will incorporate into the training they do every year. So by the next time they do that, our goal is to have these lockers in place so they'll be able to train on those. So again, thank you all for accepting this donation.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
All right, the next person with their hand up was Kaying Ji. I said that
Hi,
wrong.
thank you. And thanks for the clarification earlier about the the policy committee's decision. And my name is Kenyin Shi. I residing at 61 Banana Lane. And I'm actually here tonight with my two children, Evelyn and Charlie. You just heard Evelyn spoke. I actually didn't know she was gonna talk tonight. So she actually said a lot of things that I wanted to say. Um, I also want to just take this moment to express my thank you to the policy committee for reviewing this and to the entire Board of Education for this process that brought us to this moment. And I just want to share me as a parent, like what this journey meant for our family. I think initially this started last December 2025. When my daughter Evelyn first brought this idea up during a meeting, student government meeting with the board, and I didn't know that she was planning on that, but I knew that night she came home pretty discouraged because the initial responses that she heard was not supportive of in favor of this idea, and she wondered if her voice, a student's voice, would really make a difference, right? But she didn't give up. Neither did this community. So we know that over the course of the last 2 months, many community members have sent emails. They signed petitions. They spoke at the last two BOE meetings. They shared what this moment means for them. And at the January 26th meeting, both my kids Evelyn and Charlie were also there. And then Evelyn shared a story about her encounter she had with one of her fellow students a couple of years ago about Lunar New Year. And she said something that really resonated with me. She said that we shouldn't have to justify why our traditions matter. Right. So while we celebrate this decision, I know for the entire board members, this decision did not come lightly. There were some very valid concerns that were raised by several board members about the dates, the school ending day, where we draw the line, all real concerns. But at the same time, everybody also listened. The entire board weighed the challenges against the powerful truth, which is that a significant part of our student body. This is not just a cultural event. As you know, when parent Michelle Yan beautifully said, this is actually important to our soul. So tonight, I just wanted to say from my perspective, right, your decision meant something for my kids. They are learning something very invaluable. They are learning that the student's idea, when lifted by a community, can become real. And they're learning that our board can listen with respect and choose to be more inclusive. So I want to thank you for your leadership and for making this wonderful decision.
Thank you. I think we have one more hand up. It says Z G.
Good evening, members of the BOE, administrators, teachers, parents, and students. My name is Claire, and I live at 49 Patriot Hill Drive, Basking Ridge, and I am a fifth grader at Mount Prospect School. Thank you for approving adding Lunar New Year to our school calendar. This would make many students like me who celebrate this holiday feel included and important in our school community. We will be able to spend time with our families and do their traditions. I deeply appreciate this thoughtful step to inclusivity and cultural respect, which strengthens our school community. Thank you for adding Lunar New Year to our school calendar.
Thank you.
Hi, dear BOE members and all. My name is Ziyan Xie. I'm a proud resident of Basking Ridge and mother of two who both go to MPS. One is fifth grader Claire, who just spoke, and one is Aiden Zhu going to kindergarten. I would like to echo what my daughter Claire just said. We are very grateful to the Board of Education for approving Lunar New Year as a holiday. This thoughtful action acknowledges the cultural heritage of many students and families, including us, and strengthens our sense of belonging within the school community. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. There's no one else with their hands up. Ms.
Okay.
White.
With that, I'll close public comment and we're up to board forum. Does anybody have anything for board forum tonight? I don't see anything, so I just want to make sure that that's correct. Okay. So with that, I will get a motion to adjourn. Janice and Brett.
Good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Don't forget, delayed opening tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.